The Oscar goes to
Bond. James Bond.
Phone home.
My dear, I don't give a damn.
Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
One morning, I shot an elephant in my pajamas. How he got in my pajamas, I don't know.
My mother thanks you. My father thanks you. My sister thanks you. And I thank you.
Well, hello, everybody.
Detective Chimp.
Poor little chimp.
Speaking of Detective Chimp.
Yeah. We want to talk about...
Little known fact, his name is Oscar.
Yes, Oscar, yep. He is technically... Detective Chimp is actually Oscar the Grouch from Sesame Street.
Who also just so happens to be Oscar Pistorius and Oscar Schindler, and I can't think of any more Oscars.
Oscar the baby from Ghostbusters 2.
Oh, yeah.
He grew up to be Detective Chimp.
There's now a golden statue given out to hundreds of celebrities every year.
Yes.
I can't say 100, but, at least 8 a year.
They're waiting for the signal to be activated. That's the true story behind the Oscars, is that they're all miniature kill bots that are waiting for a signal from a orbiting satellite.
It's North Korea. They put bombs in each of the Oscars.
They've been doing it since the 20s.
Because they're so pissed off about the interview.
They're so pissed off about the interview, their anger traveled back in time. That is super weird that that's the most important movie of the year now.
Yeah. There's gonna be another dumb Seth Rogen, James Franco comedy.
We're doing this all wrong. If we want to make a movie, we need to make a movie about killing some leader.
We need to make a movie about how much Putin sucks.
That would legitimately be a pretty good movie. Just a bunch of struggling filmmakers are like, so how can we get heat on our project? I know, we're gonna make a movie about killing the Prime Minister of Canada.
No, we got to do Putin because Putin's batshit insane and he'd probably try to pull something.
Putin legitimately would murder you.
I think Putin would press the button immediately.
You'd be like brushing your teeth, you'd open the medicine cabinet,
When
you'd close it, and Putin would just be behind you, shirtless, with a piece of piano wire stretched between his hands, and that's the last thing you see.
Yeah. He has to be riding a horse then too.
Yeah.
Just because that's what people
You
do.
just hear
that is
click,
actually
click,
the
click.
last thing you see. Before you die, you see Putin on a horse.
Well, welcome to our friend Oscar. The Amazing Adventures to the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
I am one of the co-hosts, Todd.
I'm Megan.
I'm Brian. I'm waving again.
Nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong about waving to the camera. And tonight it's all going to be about animation.
Woo.
Which is something that I always love. But,
Yeah.
especially since we've been kids. It's been around there forever.
That's the kind of thing you never really grow out of.
Yeah, and, was it 2006 they introduced the Best Animated Film? Whatever Shrek came out.
On that.
I think it was whatever Shrek came out.
Yeah,
I would
Toy Story got like a special Oscar,
Yeah.
so it was after Toy Story.
see if it was Shrek, then it would have come out
2001.
2000. Yeah, like early
2001.
2000s.
So 2001 and
Is that the most recent Oscar? Or?
2001 was the start of the animation category.
Nice.
And like I said, we all
Pixar's won all of them.
actually
Well,
no.
unless they put out a Cars movie.
Here's my thing, and I'm just gonna say this: I think Cars would have won that year if it wasn't for the fact that the Oscars theme that year was green. You have to be green,
What
and
did win that year?
Happy Feet.
Happy Feet.
And what's Happy Feet about? Being green.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
Because I honestly, yes, I understand the hatred towards Cars. I understand it was, let's shove down this theme down your throat. I still like it,
I'm okay
I
with
like the first one.
Cars, but everything after that was just so shamelessly about the toys.
Yeah,
And it's like, when you heard that a Cars or a Planes movie was coming out, it's like, okay, they're paying for the movie they want to make next year. So
it's like The first Cars I really liked, and then the second Cars movie, I was like, oh, so they're gonna be spies now, and it was like, no, it's just Mater porn, kids.
Yeah, I refuse to actually enjoy anything with Larry the Cable Guy in it. It's
So,
a moral stance.
and it's one of the few categories I really pay attention to because it's the one category that I've probably seen and heard of all the films.
Like, I remember last year partying over here, like everybody screaming when Frozen won, and then just can you imagine your neighbors right now?
Let it go! Shut up! I'm in front of my computer here as we're doing this, but that's the one thing I really like because I heard of all the films. I likely have seen them all too, and so I'm always excited to see what gets nominated and what's going to be talked about. But, this year was actually a pretty good year for animation because we had the Lego Movie. Everything is awesome.
I really enjoyed that. It led to one of my favorite, just utterly ridiculous moments of the year. When Fox News was saying that it was anti-capitalism because the bad guy's name is President Business, but it's essentially a 2-hour toy commercial that you pay to see.
Yeah.
It's the most perfect example of capitalism I've ever seen.
That, and they have the little cutaway scene when it reveals that a small child has been doing all this.
And then we had Big Hero 6.
Which was pretty awesome. Probably the best end scene of any superhero movie ever.
Nick Fury shows up.
That would been awesome. You know, just...
I know I am not the only superhero.
Yeah.
Talk to you about the Avenger Initiative. I would like to talk to you about your high cholesterol.
There's the Book of Life.
I have not seen that.
Yeah,
I'm surprised that I haven't seen it yet.
I like
that's
the art
right
style.
up my alley.
Yeah.
The art style was intriguing, and I think that honestly the reason I didn't see it is because what's his name's in it? Magic Mike, gonna be Gambit.
Channing Tatum. I hate him. But that kind of movie is like my kind of movie where it's all about dead things, but it's positive because it's all based around the Dia de los Muertos.
And don't forget, it's all about love.
And it's all about love, which is nice. And I suck at Spanish, but so it's all colorful and stuff, but it's still about dead things.
I just like the fact it's Del Toro produced it.
Yeah.
And that's what
Del Toro's really kind of stretching out because he's doing the next Silent Hill game too.
Yeah. Box Trolls.
Box Trolls was amazing.
I'm just thinking of the crack. Think of the crack article or the Photoshop.
Oh.
And it's Solid Snakes behind a bunch of the
box trolls.
I'm always on board for anything with Richard Iowati in it.
Yeah. He was actually really good because he was a bad guy, but the whole time he was like, am I really doing the right thing here? So he was really nice.
I think it's just, that studio never does anything wrong. They did Coraline and they did Paranormal. And then, what else came out? How to Train Your Dragon 2.
I still haven't seen the first one, so I didn't get a chance to go and see the second one.
Yeah,
I think you
see it, but
I think you would like How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
I know the first one's like just a big metaphor for like Israel and Palestine, but I don't know what the second one is a metaphor
it's
for.
It's pretty much the same movie.
Okay.
But it's so well done, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I do like. I mean, the images I've seen from it, there's like really interesting art direction. So
yeah,
I do like the imagery from it. So
yeah, the stuff I've seen a lot of stuff on Tumblr because
back in it.
One of the big Tumblr fandoms is just a mashup of different animated movies. One of them being How to Train Your Dragon, and so I've seen a bunch of stuff, and I've seen a guy that just naturally had an amputated leg, so he was dressed up as Hiccup.
Then we have Mr. Peabody and Sherman.
That movie sucks. Oh, jeez.
It was animated well, but just the writing.
Mel Brooks was in it.
They just needed. Honestly, a decent editor could have made it a decent movie, but everything just went like one line too far.
Yeah.
Every joke.
Sherman, don't touch yourself.
Every joke was just ruined. And I mean, it's like...
Just don't get me started. You don't want to be around Oedipus's family during the holidays. Oh, that's a funny joke. It's awkward. That joke isn't funny anymore.
Yeah.
Penguins of Madagascar.
I want those. I want to get rid of the penguins.
Benedict Cumberbatch was in it.
Yeah, he was in it, and
The
he's
Star
good.
Wars trailer was there.
Really?
Yeah, that was like the reason that movie made money was because the Star Wars trailer was shown before Penguins.
Oh.
I find that so funny.
And
Just-
people
The
flip their shit about either the Black Stormtrooper or the lightsaber with the two little side doodlies.
The Nut Job.
Oh, that I seriously thought that movie was like a spin-off of Over the Hedge.
Yeah.
Because it looks exactly like Steve Carell's.
It does look exactly the same, and except some of the squirrels are purple.
Yeah. So it's like half Despicable Me 2, half Over the Hedge, and then a little bit of Fritz the Cat.
What
I'm
part
just-
of Fritz the Cat?
I'm just thinking, next year. I think it's next year. Steph Rogen's coming with an animated movie called Sausage Fest. That's all I'm thinking about when I hear Nut Job.
It's been quite a while since I've seen an animated movie like not targeted primarily at children.
I think the last one was South Park.
I'd say Team. Yeah, probably The Simpsons. Maybe before that, Team
Simpsons.
America, because
That's
I don't count
Aqua
Team
Teen.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force, yeah.
oh yeah.
But I think Simpsons came out after that.
Yeah. Planes, Fire, and Rescue.
Oh.
It was like, okay, people are starting to look down on all our Cars rehashes, so let's do like a serious one where they actually like save the day and shit.
I really hope that movie was actually really dark, but nobody noticed.
Because
there's a
no one would
subplot
just see
in
it.
about like a serial arsonist that's just running around starting all these fires they have to put out. Or like it's one of those where secretly one of the airplanes is starting the fires so that he can put it out and be a hero.
Well, there was a thing in Cars 2 where somebody just straight up got murdered.
That's true, yeah.
How do you do that? And tell me it was with a potato up the tailpipe.
I wish. No, they had like a car crusher and they just rolled out like the crushed up cube that used to be a character.
Huh. Every time I see
Whoa!
a character
No, just imagine Wally killing the cars.
I'm actually picturing the scene playing out a lot like the shoe in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh my god.
Did you ever, there was a crack article, I'm going off animation here for a minute, because Brian does not like Medea movies.
No.
Have you ever read the article how it's more darker than you think?
Yeah. But it's still fucking stupid, though. It can be as dark as you want to make it.
But in the end, it's
It's
Tyler
Tyler
Perry
Perry.
with fake boobs.
And in the last one, there was also Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, seriously. That's what the star of Jingle All the Way 2 is in your movie.
Have you seen that yet?
I have not. I want to.
I haven't.
Oh, God.
I don't want to be associated with Jingle All the Way 2.
I just want to know what someone was thinking about. Let's make Jingle All the Way a sequel.
I could see it trying it again. I could see rebooting it, but
Yeah.
a sequel with none of the original cast?
Well, the first movie wasn't that good to begin with.
I know.
Yeah.
Granted, I think it's one of my favorite holiday movies.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
I gotta
It's
give it up to
still shit.
Gremlins.
I'm still I'm fond of it because I liked it when I was a kid, but I can recognize that it's an awful movie.
Yeah. But back to the animation. So those are, the big animated movies that came out there that are good. There were a few bad. Well, I can't even say Mr. Peabody and Sherman.
Yeah,
was
Mr.
good.
Peabody
No.
and Sherman was
But
not
I
good.
can see that getting nominated for some weird reason.
Because, like, we've got some
If DreamWorks
nostalgia
put
for
out-
people
did
deciding.
DreamWorks put out How to Train Your Dragon 2, right?
And
Yeah.
Mr. Peabody and Sherman.
Yeah, so they'll put their muscle behind Dragon.
Yeah.
So, no, I can't see
I mean, there were a couple
Sure.
other ones.
Peabody and Sherman up for anything.
Yeah. The Legend of Oz. Dorothy's Return.
I want to see that. 'cause
It was the worst crap I ever saw.
you did not see the quiet ones.
Yeah, because I have to give you credit because the Quiet Ones didn't have Patrick Stewart as a talking tree who wanted to commit suicide
Oh, Patrick Stewart, why?
to become a boat to help Dorothy, stop the evil Martin Short. Because I'm calling him Martin Short. I know he's like the jester or something, but he was Martin Short being Martin Short. But
Martin Short just can't pick a good project.
He can't.
He's a funny guy, but he just keeps doing crap.
Yeah.
no different than Tim Allen.
And they did crap
I don't know,
together.
Tim Allen at least has Toy Story.
Yeah.
That is true.
He's always gonna have Toy Story.
He's always
'cause
gonna have the
they're
Toy
never
Story
gonna let that
movies.
die.
They should let it die.
And 13 episodes, or 13 copies of the Santa Claus
On
on VHS.
Why didn't we just buy those?
I wish I had, and then I could just give them one a year to Jack every
Yes,
year.
just here you go,
until
Jack.
he turns 13.
And then when he turns 14, just let me guess, it's another copy of the Santa Claus on a
It's like-
format I can't use. And holy shit, it's something else.
It's a Santa Claus too.
It's
like-
a Santa Claus 2
No.
on
Holy
Laserdisc.
shit, it's something else. A can of peanut brittle.
But there's a lot of big news going on. Obviously, the Annie Awards are up, which is pretty much the Oscars for animation.
Mm.
This is what is considered the best of the best. Granted, it's not the greatest thing because of what happened with Kung Fu Panda a few years back, but it still recognizes the best films out there.
What happened with Kung Fu Panda?
It won
It won?
against WALL-E.
Oh.
And
Whoa.
Why?
Pixar's made a lot of amazing movies, but it's like WALL-E and Up are the two that I keep going between, like, which is the best they've ever done.
yeah. And so, yeah. So pretty much what happens is, like, apparently, like, the studio just, like, here's some extra cash, give us this award. And that came out. But, I mean, they still recognize the best. We have Big Hero 6, Cheating.
I don't know.
Oh.
Big Hero 6 just, I liked it, but I wasn't, like, super into it like I am with a lot of, like, good animated movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very predictable.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, 4 stars out of 5. It was fun, but it was Pixar, and
You mean Disney?
yeah, it's Disney, and I don't know, it's the last thing they made was Frozen, so
Well, you kept complaining because you were like, the big marshmallow-looking guy looked better without the armor.
yeah, he did. I don't know. It was just, I guess for me, it was just kind of like I was like on board up to the point where it was just like, now everyone's gonna be a superhero in 5 minutes, and this guy's gonna look like a monster because why not? And
Because that's what he wanted to do.
I know, but it's just like you had a
He was
theme going, and
Yeah.
then
he
it
was
like,
he was their money guy. He didn't really need to be useful in any other way.
I know.
Buy our toys.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, it's like when it's like everybody else has a matching design and a matching theme, and then you
Yeah.
have one guy. He was the alpha of this.
Then we have Box Trolls.
I really like
I really like Box Trolls.
So,
I like box trolls, but the thing that I'm thinking is like they're like begging for an award. Like the first trailer I saw for Box Trolls was just, do you see how hard it is to do stop motion animation? And even like there was a like mid credit scene where Richard Iowati's character and the other guy that wasn't the short guy.
Yeah, the short guy was Tracy Morgan, and that
Yeah,
was weird.
crazy fucking Tracy Morgan short guy.
So
but
hard
just
for
the
me
two
not
of
to call
them-
him Tracy Jordan.
But the two of them were just like cleaning up stuff, and they're like, can you imagine if like we were all part of this bigger universe with our like gods manipulating us? Like they'd have to do everything. They have to do everything. Yeah, like you see how I blinked just then? Someone would have to make me blink, and like they're just pandering to be like, hey, look at how hard stop motion animation is. Which I agree, it is incredibly hard. Like it took like a week to film a minute of Nightmare Before Christmas, and that was like 20 years ago.
I'm glad they had that, because if they hadn't, I might not have known it was actually stop motion. I might have thought it was like CGI modeled to look like stop motion.
Kind of like the Book of Life.
Yeah.
But that's the other one that got nominated. But I want to talk a little bit more about Box Trolls. The thing that I find fascinating is like this studio, I feel deserves a win.
Yeah.
They got screwed over with Coraline. They got screwed over with Paranorman, which I really thought Paranorman.
Brave beat out Paranorman?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
And I really thought that
Paranorman was a better movie.
It was a much better movie. Story-wise, I think I thought it was better. I think animation was too.
I was kind of surprised too, because it kind of like hit the right like social note, you know, with the big anti-bullying message going through it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Pixar.
Yeah, it's Pixar.
It's not Cars.
And Merida's hair.
Yeah,
I would have voted just on Merida's hair.
It got nominated because it's Pixar and it's not Cars. That's why it won.
Yeah, I can imagine that, because how many people vote on that? It's like, I forget what
John Travolta does.
Yeah, it's like you have to. You just have to be a member of the Academy or something like that. So I can imagine a lot of people who didn't see everything and were just like, "What's the Pixar movie?" Like,
a lot of people. It's come out that a lot of people just said like, "I haven't seen any of the movies. I just went with Frozen because it looked good and it was Disney."
Hey, that's that happens.
Yeah.
Well, let's go on to the Book of Life. I mean, granted, we did not see the Book of Life.
Yeah, I need to.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
But Del Toro.
Yeah.
On one hand, Channing Tatum. On the other hand, Guillermo del Toro.
I'm sorry, but I think Del Toro.
Yeah, Del Toro.
Changes.
Del Toro. Tatum. Del Toro.
I can't look at Tatum and not think, why are you playing Gambit?
I can't look at Channing Tatum without thinking you were in Magic Mike and therefore I hate you.
Magic Mike could have been good if they got an actor with charisma for the main role.
Yeah, it could have been good if they decided, you know what, we're already going to have naked men, people are already going to watch it, let's just do whatever.
If they'd gone with the guy from White Collar, who he was in it, but if he had been the main character, probably would have been decent.
Yeah.
He should have played Superman, but it's like, they were like, nope, he's gay, so...
Can't have that. Wait,
if they had Gabriel Iglesias get naked, it would have been a better movie. He's the only one I wanted to see naked. He's the only one that didn't get naked.
Well, what do you expect from a movie about trying to make furniture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dream is to make tables.
I still like that I didn't even realize Olivia Munn was in it halfway through the movie because when she first showed up the first few times, she was topless. So just looking at her boobs, I'm like, those are some nice boobs. And then just later on, she was like, oh, that's whose boobs I was looking at.
Her character in that was almost exactly like, their relationship was almost exactly like the movie Up in the Air.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, I don't know, Up in the Air did it better, I guess.
Yeah. All right, well, back to animation.
We got off track. No more strippers. Animation.
Big breaking news is that Magic Mike 2 will be animated. In 3D.
With Fitz the Cat.
Yeah.
How to Train Your Dragon 2. I know you two didn't see it, but I did. It's pretty much the same as the first movie, minus the whole ending with Toothless and the scene that happens. I'm not going to give anything away because I think it is worth seeing, but between Toothless and the kid's father.
David Tennant in this one too?
I don't think so.
His role was tiny in the first one.
Yeah.
So I had to like really search to find him. He had like 2 lines in the movie.
And there's 2 movies I never heard of: Cheating and The Song of the Sea.
Yeah, I've never heard of those.
You were gonna say Song of the South.
Me too.
Zippity doo dah, zippity yay.
Love how that song is so popular, but then Song of the South is just straight up banned.
I just like the fact that there's a theme park ride based around the Song of the South.
That was the first time I went to Disney World. That was my favorite ride. Then I'm just imagining kids like, but okay, I liked this ride, but who the heck is Briar Rabbit? Google, Google, Google. Oh my god.
Racism.
Briar Rabbit was Song of the South?
Yeah.
I've seen Briar Rabbit.
Yeah, well, they kept the cartoons.
Okay.
but they kept everything else away. It's like
But the whole entire movie itself is like locked away in the Disney vault.
it's
facing a corner.
I'm sure you could torrent it.
Oh yeah, I actually have it. I hate saying that, but I do have it. I think it's somewhat.
I want to watch it because I like controversial and cult films.
Than being told you can't see a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think eventually, Disney's gonna be like,
You know what?
It's gonna be like, okay.
Here's a thing we did. We're sorry. Just
it was a product of its time.
Here's Whoopi Goldberg and Leonard Maltin to say everything about this movie and why it's racist. And then I think then we got the Lego movie.
Woo, Lego movie.
I think
I
think it's gonna be movie. It's probably gonna take the win. I mean, both the Annie and the Oscar. It's well written, well animated, and everything is awesome.
What studio did it?
Warner Brothers. Yeah. So
is it gonna be? They haven't announced songs yet, have they?
No, they even have the short list yet, but which I'm really hoping. Like, I hope everything is awesome's on there.
Yeah, I expect it will be. They did Happy, so. I mean,
that is true. I'm really expecting. I'm gonna go off topic again. I'm gonna talk a little bit about music, but I think everything is awesome because it is awesome. I think we'll probably get a nomination, and I'm trying to think of the song from the Muppets.
I haven't seen the Muppets Most Wanted.
I saw the end of it.
It was a song about it was the dramatic song to how everyone is like they're going on their own way. And Celine Dion
always in Muppet movies. That song is in like every Muppet movie, and it's always good.
But I'm hoping I expect that one to get nominated, and I'm really hoping.
I wouldn't be surprised if something from Whiplash or
Whiplash. Yeah,
I'd like to see something from Birdman, just because like everything on that was just drums, and so just have someone come out on a drum set just for like 2 minutes.
I don't think like a song like that could be nominated though.
I know it would be amazing to see.
I think it has to have lyrics, but that's pretty much the films nominated for the Annies. That usually is a sign of what films are going to be nominated for the Oscars. Do you think there'll be an Oscar nominee for Best Picture for any animated movie?
No.
No?
No, because, I mean, you were saying there was a Studio Ghibli movie this year?
Oh, yeah, The Tales of the Princess.
Yeah, I mean, maybe?
Maybe, yeah, just because of his retirement and the fact he's going to get that nice little award.
Yeah, so, I mean, maybe, although that would probably be more likely for, like, foreign language film or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure, like, some Academy members would be like, this is supposedly his retirement, so we're going to, I have to vote for his work on something.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, yeah, when I look at, like, the Best Picture, there's only been 3 animated movies. You had Beauty and the Beast, you had Toy Story 3, and Up. And looking at all the movies that came out this year that's animated, I don't see
I don't think
that lasting appeal like you
reached
saw.
That, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Lego Movie was fun, it was new, it was something different, and that deserves to be recognized, but I really don't think that, like, we're going to go back to it in 10 years and watch it and still think it's as good as it is now,
Mm-hmm.
But toss, Up in the...
Yeah, it's timeless.
10 years, and it's still going to... You're still going to cry at that scene in the beginning with his entire relationship with his wife.
You son of a bitch! But there's other big animation news. The Hollywood Reporter released an article about animated movies could be nominated for Best Production Design. And it's early. They talk about 4 movies: Big Hero 6 and San Fran, Tokyo.
San Fran, so cute.
Yeah, whatever you pronounce it.
Yeah.
The Box Trolls, How to Train Your Dragon 2, and the Lego Movie.
I mean, I really don't know. If you can do that, then why couldn't you nominate one for costume design too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
I don't know how, when you can take something as fantastical as the settings for Big Hero 6, how you could then compare that to, like, a period piece or any, real world piece of work,
The question is if we have to, is creating it from a computer or creating it with a hammer any different?
Yeah, I don't know if I can justify that, but at the same time, it's, like I said, I don't know how a live action movie would then ever be able to compete.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I kind of hope it does, just because, I do think the animation world, when it comes to animation and its world, it is unique, it is different, and you do have to think outside the box. And, it's just as much time as if, you take a hammer and you build a set.
Yeah.
So I want to see it, but at the same time, it's not real. It's not.
Yeah, it's not like you could like own a piece of the set in your home because it's backed up onto a flash drive somewhere.
I would totally be behind the creation of a new award for like set design in an animated film or costume design. But like I said, if you're willing to accept set design, then you also have to do costume. You'd also have to do cinematography. Every element is fundamentally the same, and the rules just aren't the same between the two mediums.
I mean, and the other thing is we do look at animation as a children's thing.
Yeah.
So, when you take that into consideration, do we count these children's ideas to be possible for production design and all like that?
I think that animated movies should have the opportunity to be nominated because, I mean, with animated and live action, you both have a team dedicated to sets. You have a team dedicated, like, you have to create this, you have to create that in the set, you have to put it in places. It's the same setup, just some guys just on a live action movie,
it's a different medium.
The person building the backdrop is going to have a hammer and nails. In an animated movie, they're going to be sitting at a computer.
Yeah.
Or
with a pencil.
Or the pencil.
Yeah, I mean, for that extent, then if you do that and you had a traditional cell animated movie, would that also be available for set?
That's a good question.
Because, I mean, at that point, you can't even argue that it's a similar process of putting, building each asset and putting it in place, because it's literally just, you draw it.
But I mean, how do you come up with that set design to begin with? Is that you do draw it.
Yeah.
So.
And also, you don't have to follow the same rules with CGI. If something, you don't have to make pieces fit in a given space. If things overlap in some way that's not seen, who cares?
So, I mean, I think it'll be interesting. I want it to be just because I think it would be historically important. I think that would be kind of cool, and it hopefully would pave the way for voice actors to get a nomination, or I think it'd be really great to see like Frank Walker get a nomination, just because the dude voices a monkey and a horse.
Yeah.
He's not saying anything. He's actually a horse. I would like to see Jim Cummings get a nomination. These people who can do 5-7 different roles like that.
Yeah.
I remember when Shrek 2 came out, there was big talks of Antonio Banderas getting a nomination for Best Supporting Actor because he was so good and they liked the character.
He was really good, and why can't we have voice actors be nominated for acting roles?
I think that you can put in a good performance and you can be, every bit as good, but I don't think that they could ever win, because just not looking at a person, not seeing their physicality, not seeing how they hold themselves, you'll never connect with them on the same.
Yeah. And I mean, at the same time, there could be a nomination, but I don't think it'll ever be a win, because I think it was last year when Chris Rock made the animation comment that pissed off all the animators and voice actors. It says, anyone can be a voice actor. All you have to do is sit in a little cubicle and say stuff on a microphone.
Yeah. What's the line? I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to go to the store. Give me my check.
Yeah. And so, I mean, when you really look at that, that's another big thing. And
again, I think the right answer might just be a separate category.
Yeah.
You know, best voice acting. But
I mean, yeah, there are more.
Oscar's kind of stingy with categories.
Mhm.
Yeah, there are more categories I'd like to see. That would be it'd be a nice category to have. Although, I would like to just say if an actor gives a good performance in an animated movie, it's still a good performance.
Yeah, no, I absolutely believe you can give a performance in an animated movie every bit as good or better than a live action. I just don't think that it will connect as much.
Yeah.
Like, I have seen like behind the scenes stuff for movies, but of course it's been like straight to video movies, which obviously aren't going to get Oscar nominations. But Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, which I hate with a passion because my sister would like, that was one of those movies where she'd be like, I want to watch this movie, and after insisting on 5 minutes, after we put it in, she would go walk away and do something else.
Mhm.
But they had a thing where they talked to the actors, and they're like, well, how do you get into character? And Gray DeLise, who did Daphne's voice, talked about how there's a scene where, like, Daphne in the movie would have had to be, like, reaching out for a flower, and she would act that out, and how she did stuff. And the woman that voiced Velma talked about that she actually got into character by coming onto the set, wearing the turtleneck and, like, big, thick glasses. And then, Mulan 2, which was obviously not as good as the first movie, but they talked to Mulan's voice actress, and she talked about how, like, she had to act out Shang falling off a cliff, and how she, like, actually cried when she was giving that performance. So voice actors are putting as much passion and performance into the roles as live action actors. So if someone gives a good performance, it doesn't matter if you can see them or not. If they're giving a good performance, they're giving a good performance.
Yeah. I'm just saying that, like, you know, she cried when she filmed that scene, okay, but when I saw Michael Keaton crying in Birdman when he was giving his speech at the end, or when he was doing his scene at the end, that had a greater impact on me than because I could see it, you know.
You also haven't seen either of the Mulan movies, so you don't have that connection for Shang.
Okay, well, then the guy who did the voice acting for Simba in Lion King when Mufasa died.
That doesn't hurt you?
No, it hurts me, but it's never going to hit me as hard as, you know,
seeing a person.
Yeah, if there was the same movie, live action with humans, and young boy came upon his father dead.
So Hamlet
played out the exact same scene, that would hit me harder.
I don't know. I've seen the Broadway musical When It Came to Town, and it's roughly the same kind of hurt. Because they have human actors out there playing it, and you do see the young boy like going up to Mufasa and like, "Come on, Dad, it's time to get up." I mean, maybe the live action one, like, I cried a little harder, and I was like trying to not let my parents see that I was crying. And my sister's like, "Megan, are you crying?" And I'm like, "Mufasa just died, Corey. Of course I'm crying." It's the same kind of hurt, but that's just me saying it. And I've seen live action and animated Lion King, so I can compare the two.
And with that note, we got one last thing we're going to talk about.
Okay.
And that is, this year they are giving a honorary award to Hayao Miyazaki.
Ooh.
And
Deserves it.
Yeah, definitely deserves it. I think Glassner said it best. It takes 4 years to make an animated movie. Miyazaki has made 11. So for 44 years, he has been making movies from scratch. I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's anybody who wouldn't say he's like one of the, not just best animated directors in the world, but one of the best just filmmakers, full stop, in the world.
Just one of the greatest storytellers.
I mean, I always look. There's always, you know, 3 filmmakers or 3 animators. I always, you know, these are the 3 best. These are the people that will always be remembered. And it's obviously Walt Disney, and then you have Hayao Miyazaki, and I think it's John Lasseter, who is the head of Pixar.
Yeah.
Maybe some you know, I might diss myself with John Lasseter just because I think the reason why we're always going to remember him is because he created the CGI. world. But I mean,
if you make Toy Story and Up and Wall-E and Ratatouille and
Finding Nemo.
Yeah,
it's just
those are still great films. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, but I mean, when you compare Pixar to Studio Ghibli, which one has the better?
There's never been a Ghibli movie that I just didn't like. Like, I don't really get, like, all wrapped up in the movies where I'm like, oh, this is the greatest movie ever, but there has not been a single Miyazaki movie that I've seen where I was like, you know what, this movie's kind of garbage, or like, I'm not really into it. Everything I see is good.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite memories is at the anime club watching From Poppy Hill, or whatever that movie's called. Up on Poppy Hill, and just the entire club just going, incest, incest.
So, what do you think was his best film?
Jeez. It's boring, but I'm gonna say Princess Mononoke.
Okay.
So I feel like a lot of...
Wait, no, I'm sorry. I don't know why this slipped my mind, but My Neighbor Totoro. It's my favorite movie.
It's hard to say, because a lot of the ones where people are like, oh, this is the best one, like, I haven't really seen, like, there are a lot of people that are like, I really freaking love Princess Mononoke, and I've only seen, like, half of it.
I never seen it.
And then the half I saw was really good. Yeah. But there are a lot of people that are like, oh, Howl's Moving Castle is so good, and I haven't seen that one either. And I might say My Neighbor Totoro also, because, like, not a lot happens, but the stuff that does happen is, like, really exciting.
Nothing happens in the movie, but I'm just happy when I'm watching.
Yeah.
It's like you physically cannot muster up sadness while you're watching My Neighbor Totoro. But I also...
The dramatic climax of that movie is finding a shoe. I mean, that's the most exciting thing that happens in that movie.
That's the most dramatic thing. And there's, of course, also the iconic, like, bus stop scene where they're waiting for the bus and Totoro is just standing next to them. And, like, just that image of them standing in the rain has gotten so popular. I'm sure more people have seen, like, that image and parodies of that than have actually seen the movie.
It's like, that scene is about 5 minutes of, like, no dialogue, just facial expressions, and it is absolutely enchanting.
It just sticks in your brain just so well.
Totoro, the first time he, like, jumps or the first time a raindrop hits the umbrella, and it's just...
Yeah. I think what makes Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli the animation company is a great animated movie is not one that relies on dialogue or sound. It's you can turn off the sound and you're seeing a story.
Yeah.
And I think Studio Ghibli does that. One of my favorite ones, and I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I love Ponyo.
Oh, I loved it.
Oh, I love Ponyo. I was going to say that one was another contender for my favorite. I really love Ponyo.
Everyone looks at me and is like, you like Ponyo? Like, yeah.
It was awesome. Like, I love her excitement when they make the ramen and she covers up. She's like, hang on. And then they lifts it up and it's ham! And ham! They were all crunchy, now they're soft!
And it just, people are like, it's like, well, it's too simple. It's like The Little Mermaid. And I'm like,
I loved The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, but
so you can go choke on your own genitals. So
I just like the fact that you could turn off the sound. You still get a movie. It's beautiful to look at. I mean, it's all watercolor.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one thing, like, people didn't know. It's like, it's all watercolor. Like, there's no CGI. There's no...
That I actually didn't know.
Yeah. There was, like, really nothing. It was just all watercolor. And I love it. I mean, it's just a simple story about a little girl wanting to be human.
Yeah.
And ham.
And ham.
And it's just all this other crazy stuff is going on. It's...
Honestly, I think you, like what you were saying about turning off the sound, the most breathtaking, amazing, dramatic scene in that movie is just music. And that's when she's, like, starting to become more and more human and her sisters all gather around. And just that big wave of them and just and she's running. And she looks like a chicken because she's not fully human yet. She's becoming less chicken and more human and she's running. And it's just like a swarm of these little goldfish with face. faces, and they're it's so beautiful and breathtaking.
It was funny when I used to write for the newspaper, and they asked me, we're gonna do foreign films. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna do a Miyazaki film. I'm gonna use the Studio Ghibli. Goes, which one are you gonna do? You're gonna Spirited Away. You're gonna do Howlin' in Castle. You're gonna do Princess Mononoke. And I went, Ponyo. And they just looked at me like, what's wrong with you?
Ponyo, Ponyo.
And like, I think it was
from the sea.
I honestly think it's like one of his best.
Wasn't Liam Neeson in that one?
Yep, Liam Neeson was in the
He's
American
the
one.
dad. Betty White was in that?
Yep.
Betty White, yep, yeah, she was one. Tina Fey.
I knew Tina Fey. As the mom.
Noah's Miley Cyrus's brother or sister, one of the two.
Sister.
Yeah, sister, and then Noah's
her little
Jonas Brothers.
Yeah.
The little
and
Jonas
Bonus
brother.
Jonas.
Yeah.
My sister, she used to be into the Jonas Brothers, so I know that.
That one's one of my favorites, and Poco Rosso.
Is that the one with the big balls?
That's the one with the pig. That flies.
It's the pig that flies like a World War
Yeah, that one.
II,
Yeah, World War
era
Yeah.
fighter jet.
And he's a pig because he ran away from battle, so he's cursed.
Ah.
And I love that one.
Did they do a sequel, or were they talking about?
They were talking about doing a sequel. I was really hoping they would, but I don't think we'll ever see it just because of his retirement.
Well,
yeah.
Isn't his son taking over?
It's the whole company is like halting production of pretty much everything. I think what's happening is they're training new artists, and I think that's the best thing to do is like you get the best to train the next best.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going on. I think Hayao Miyazaki, because he's still doing mangas. He hasn't officially retired. He's retired from animation, but he still draws. He still does stuff.
Yeah. Well, when you're an artist, you can never stop.
Yeah, you can never stop. I'm honestly, this is the third time he's called retirement.
So I think like around the time he announced his retirement, I saw a comic where he was like, it was his first couple retirements, and he came back, and it was like, okay, now I'm retiring. And then in the next panel, he'd talk to the same people, and he'd be like, okay, I've got another idea. And then towards the end of it, they were at his grave. I'm like, I guess he really is done making movies. And then like his ghost jumped out of the grave. He's like, guys, I've got another movie.
I really think he will come out of retirement. I really do.
Oh yeah.
I can't see it. After
I can't imagine.
After saying you retired 3 times, I mean, granted he is 73 years old.
Yeah.
I can see him making a masterpiece. I can see it going. I got a masterpiece.
Being like, you know what? There's a story. I kept saying it's not good enough. It's not good enough. But I think it just might be what I need for my final movie.
Yeah.
And then it just being so mind-blowingly amazing.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he's created a lot of other movies. Valley of the Wind, Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind, which is another great one.
Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yeah, Kiki's live in the same vein as
Castle in the Sky.
Yeah, Castle in the Sky.
I think Pompoko is the one I was thinking of. If that's what it's called.
With all the tanukis.
Yes. With the tanukis and their massive balls.
Yeah, has that one clip from Anime Hell.
Yeah.
Or AMV.
Yeah.
The Wind Rises.
The Wind Rises.
Yeah. The Cat Returns.
Cat Returns.
That was just sitting in your the trunk of your car when we first started dating.
I think I won it at a raffle.
Yeah.
Left it in my car.
So I've never seen it, but I've seen it sitting in the trunk of your car.
That might be one of those that's Studio Ghibli, but not.
Yeah, that was what I was trying to.
Oh, okay.
Didn't he do Lupin?
Lupin. Yes.
Yeah, one of the least one of the Lupin movies.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. The one that everyone loves and the one was a winner was Spirited Away.
Yes.
Fantastic movie.
That was one of those movies where like my dad would go to the video store and he'd be like, I found a movie I think you guys will like, that like stuck with me. Like even as I was going to bed, I was like, man, I'm really freaked out by her parents turning into pigs, but I think it was really cool how she was like, what? None of these are my parents. Like it stuck with me after I saw it. And not many of the movies my dad just kind of brought home. I could be like, oh, there are like 2 movies I can remember him doing with, and the other one is Monkey Bone, which I can just imagine my dad at the movie store and like, this has a cartoon monkey on it. I guess it's a kid's movie. And just my memories of watching it and thinking, what was my dad thinking when he got this movie?
No, are you thinking because it's, the monkey is terrifying and all that, or were you terrified because it had Brendan Fraser in it?
At that age, I was not terrified of Brendan Fraser. But the thing that bothers me is that it was like sexual and there were like dead people like Brendan Fraser possessing a dead guy and running down the street.
Isn't Whoopi Goldberg death?
Whoopi Goldberg is like death. Yeah.
I can see it.
And there was the whole thing with the nightmare juice
Mm-hmm.
being a big plot thing. And the one guy like getting sprayed in the face and thinking his clothes are eating him.
Huh. That kind of sounds like something out of Beetlejuice.
Sequel coming.
Yeah. Tell me it's the one where he like takes
Beetlejuice
Hawaii
goes
or
Hawaiian.
something.
Please no. That's
Oh.
one of my favorite things about Beetlejuice is just all this stuff where Tim Burton is like, hey, I've got a terrible idea, and the studio is like, great, we love it. And that's one of them. That and like when they couldn't think of what to name the movie, and he's like, why don't we call it Scared Sheetless? And someone's just like, brilliant! And he's like, no, please don't call it that.
Did you keep track of how many times he said it?
I've said it once, Laura. I've only said it once. And you said it once. Brian, don't. I will punch you in the face.
Alright.
But anything else we want to talk about Miyazaki, or is there?
Just
He deserves an award.
yeah.
Doubt he's really retiring. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if this
He's
is
awesome.
like his official retirement, I wish him the best.
Yeah. And then, I'm really excited to see him at the Oscars giving his little speech.
Yeah.
I think he definitely deserves. I think he deserves multiple Oscars for all his films.
Mhm.
I mean, Princess Mononoke was
Probably deserves just a straight up director one
yeah,
Yeah.
at some point.
because I mean he directed it. Didn't
I
take
think a bunch of people should just walk up and be like, you know what, Miyazaki, you deserve this.
Just have a line of like Spielberg giving him one of his Oscars. Here, this was for Schindler's List, and just then
And just people like, I didn't really need this.
Scorsese like, yeah, you deserve it. More.
Yeah, you deserve more. They just gave me this because
They hadn't given me one.
yeah,
Yeah,
My
just
favorite thing
someone
was
from the
Scorsese,
Frozen team. Like we really didn't. No, people just voted for us because we looked pretty. You deserve this.
It's my favorite thing from when Scorsese won for Departed was someone posted like, or I forget where I saw it, but someone just said, this brings the Oscar count up. Martin Scorsese is now equal with 3-6 Mafia.
But yeah, Miyazaki, you're an icon. You deserve everything. And next week we'll be looking at hopefully music. Hopefully,
Woo.
no guarantees on that one. I haven't really decided on that
Yeah.
because it depends if the short list is up.
Yeah.
If not, we'll be talking about the movie Boyhood and Gone Girl.
I've not seen either of those, but I'm pretty sure Boyhood is going to be like the sweeper.
Yeah.
It's got a 100 on Metacritic.
So
99 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mhm.
Which is like
Wow,
two
it's doing better than
Casablanca.
It's doing better than Cool World.
That's like 6 Zack Snyder movies.
I want to do that now. Just compare every movie to its Rotten Tomatoes score on versus Cool World.
I remember once I was bored and I was just on Rotten Tomatoes looking stuff up, and what's the Happy Madison production? Their average score is like in the 20s, and they had like one movie that had like a high score that brought everything up.
I'm not surprised. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
They
the type
made
of
Master of Disguise and Bucky Larson. I mean,
that's the type of studio where for every one good film, the rest are sucky.
Yeah.
So, but on that note, we want to wish everyone a happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.